Hello, Merry Marvelites, as Christian likes to call you guys. I'm Michael Shirley, and I'm taking the reins today for this week's episode of Marvel Movie Talk. We're joined today by Jeff Will Jr. and Count Eric Connor. Give a quick shout out to the fans, you guys.
How you doing?
You guys had a good week?
Yeah, well, ending in a blood-filled coup, which resulted in Michael beheading Christian, taking his power, and now here he is.
Well,
we're all winners in.
Oh yeah,
following in the steps of Whoopi Goldberg, Christian said something to me I didn't like, so I have suspended him from this show for like 20 minutes. It's okay.
Just a word to the wise: using the Holocaust as a metaphor tends not to work. This is the lesson learned. Talk about the Holocaust when you're going to talk about, let's say, the Holocaust. Or maybe you're going to talk about another Holocaust, genocide from other nations. Otherwise, leave it. Don't touch it. Leave it alone. Treat it like a gremlin after midnight or Mogwai after midnight. Don't fucking feed it. Don't touch it. Move on.
Don't feed the Goldberg. Man, this is going to be rough for her Guinan spot.
It's never, and I don't even... Listen, as the lone Jew, I wasn't even offended by what she said in the least. Honestly,
I've heard from other people, that her Colbert interview kind of worsened everything. But we're not here to talk about Christian. We're not here to talk about Whoopi Goldberg or Jews or Nazis. Mm-hmm. We're here to talk about fun stuff. We're here to talk about Marvel movies and Marvel TV shows. And today we're spotlighting, well, I guess you would call it like a dream MCU Disney Plus show. Last week we spotlighted our dream teams, and we also want you guys in the chat to let us know what kind of projects you would love to see from the MCU. I'll kick it off today a little bit later with my dream team, which I've teased, an Excalibur TV show, which I think would just be so fun, and I've already got it written, so if Marvel's interested, they can just hit me up at bookings at michaelshirley.info, but I might not get your email, which...
Wow, Marvel's going to jump at that offer.
I know. You can pull like a presidential thing and just call me on my cell phone.
Kevin Feige, stop the presses.
Yeah. But before all that like super fun stuff, I want to talk about like these like car crash whiny celebrities in the MCU. Starting off with my favorite wasp, Evangeline Lilly. There was a I love talking about her her look at the COVID-19 pandemic, and Page 6, my favorite blog, did a great story about her attending an anti-vax rally to support bodily sovereignty. Eric, I'm going to go to you first because I feel like you know all about bodily sovereignty.
Oh, if I know anything, it's about bodily sovereignty, which I was told to never try to be the king of your own castle and with your body. Mom told me never to do that, but I think you just, it's sort of like the thing with Whoopi Goldberg. You got to sort of choose which hills you're willing to die on. And in my mind, it's like, wait, this is what you're fighting for? Like, there's so many things that need our attention and help. If you're a celebrity, I mean, like, you could put that towards any number of causes. This is the one she's fighting for. Listen, we could debate. I mean, I think we're all kind of on the same side of the coin with vaccines. We've all been boosted. We encourage. I don't want to speak for everyone, but I feel like we've tended to encourage these things. But so I don't even get this side. I just don't. It's her business. Fine, keep it your business. But you do this, you're going to really potentially hurt your own career, and also hurt projects that other people are involved in. I mean, that's the thing. Like when you behave this way, and you're part of a team. I mean, it's like being a football player, and your behavior distracts the team. I mean, I think like I don't get it. I don't get the savior whatsoever. I do expect more from someone who was in Lost and the Marvel Cinematic
Man,
Universe.
I think that sums it
and
up
the
right
Hobbit.
there. Our girl is lost. She has gotten so
Mhm.
small as the wasp. She's just lost her soul. Like when her body grew back, everything else just stayed real small.
Her brain stayed the size of her as a wasp. And now
Exactly.
the body is
What
normal
about you,
size.
Jeff?
No, I mean Eric pretty much hit it right on the head that like this is people are gonna have their own opinions, people are gonna have their own views, right or wrong. But the thing is, you're a public figure. You chose this life, you chose this line of work. What you say can get you in trouble, can get you fired because just like your words, just like you're a public figure, your words are public figures in that sense. So like just like Whoopi, like we just talked about, you can get suspended because of what you say and the repercussions of how the PR looks. Not actually what you're saying, but what how people take it, how people perceive it, what the PR takes, or how the PR happens because of it. So, like Eric said, is this the hill you want to die on? Because you know this hill is very big, is very much talked about in the public eye. So if this is what you want to die on, this is what you want to be on the side of, you're risking more than just your view to people. You're risking your money.
I feel like she needs to like fire her publicist because she's just wasting her money at this point. I mean, I think it's a pretty common number for a good publicist is like $10,000 a month, and it's like, oh, she is like just train wrecking her own career for free. So, I think she's riding the line in this really weird way, given the picture she posted on Instagram that we just showed, where she's like talking about Democrats, like supporting anti-vax. It's like, and that weird apology she did, a few months back, when she was talking about like living her normal life with her kids or whatever. And it's like, when she said she was sorry, was she really sorry, or is she trying to ease back in her opinion to see like is is it like accepted now, or I don't know. Let's see. It says Vax Democrats or whatever, nurses for Vax choice. Like that's really divisive. I don't really like that. She's like, look, I've got all these cool libs on my side. Like, you guys need to listen up. And it's just really, I don't know, maybe it's the fact that they didn't fire her the first time, or the fact that they've already shot Quantumania makes her feel some kind of freedom. Maybe she's not going to go past Quantumania. Maybe she doesn't care. I'd love to hear what you guys think in the comments about
I don't
like her future in the Marvel universe after this. We have a good one from Kimmy Egan. To your point, Eric, I'm a bit surprised that Disney has not taken a stance with her opinion.
Yeah.
I'd like to know if Kevin Feige has anything to say about it. And he doesn't. They didn't say anything about Shirley, and they're not saying anything about Miss Van Dyne or whatever.
yeah.
But I think that's enough about her. Let's talk about another whiny Marvel actor. We're going to talk about Mr. Channing Tatum, who was Yahoo reported today, who he was so traumatized by not playing Gambit that he can't watch Marvel movies because it was just too sad. Jeff.
I'm just I read it, but I thought it was a joke. So like maybe he's saying this because he's gonna be like reprising his role in the near future. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe it's one of those things where it's like, no, I'm not in this. Honestly, I would never do this again because I'm so traumatized. And make up some lies or something so he doesn't have to get interviewed. Because it seems so random and out of left field. But hey, I actually want Channing Tatum to come back because I feel like the MCU could actually make it work. And he has a huge fan base, so I could see it working.
Yeah. Wait, no. Anticipation. What is Michael sharing? Oh, look at that.
I was just pulling this up for you guys.
It's just too
I mean,
sad.
look at that face. I mean, all right, like he does not look like Gambit. This
I
man
agree.
is so thick. Like, I love that it's just cut off his face right there. Is that the face of Gambit? No, that's like the Gerber baby.
I want Gerber to now use him as their
I know.
and
he just
he has
won
to
the
be naked there.
2022 contest.
You know what? Back in the day, before Vince Vaughn, put some of that old man weight on, which I know about all too well. When he was like Michael Shirley-esque in terms of build, like I think he actually might have been an interesting Gambit. Like he's one that I always like. I'm not even a huge Vince Vaughn fan per se, but I thought there was something kind of oily about him that would have been really.
You
fun
almost
on the
said
Gambit role.
sexy.
Yeah, no, I'd say sexy. I mean, but back in the day, now, a little beefy. Or what's the word we use, Michael? Our happy word? Not soft.
Doughy.
Doughy. Right. That's but it hasn't become my trigger word yet, but I'm getting close. But he was. I'm sorry, Michael. Go ahead.
It's like a pipe dream to me. Like he wanted to write the movie. He's like, I'm from New Orleans and I can do this accent. I'm like, please, buddy.
I'm from New Orleans.
Stick to the stripper pole. Like, like you want to see Channing Tatum in the MCU as someone like really big, like a juggernaut or like, someone big. I don't like know why he wants this so bad, but
permission to come aboard, Captain.
Wait,
sorry, somebody said stripper pole, and I just magically appeared. I don't, I think that if Channing Tatum had been Gambit, I think all of us might have given up on MCU movies. So I think it's rather that they just lose him than they lose all the rest of us. But what you were saying, Michael, I more than anything, I want to hear him do that accent because he thinks he can do it. And he's probably surrounded by people who are like, no, that's great. That's great, Channing. Let's make sure we get that. And by the way, in regards to your earlier story, I was thinking about how really this is setting up a Shuri Janet Van Dyne team up that will be an original movie from the dailywire.com. Kid Rock is going to do the soundtrack. And if you've heard the new Kid Rock song, you know how awesome it's going to rock. And, I think Marvel's only diversifying. But what somebody said in the chat, yeah, how much do you think like Kevin Feige like just privately like loses his shit when somebody says something like this?
Right.
He probably is like, we should have left her on the island.
Yeah, I think that they're probably going to replace her with Gina Carano. I think it'd be less of a headache for them.
Or Michelle Pfeiffer. Honestly, like they're gonna just
replace her with Ted Nugent.
Anybody, I really wouldn't lose any sleep. When I heard like this story, I was like, okay, cool. We're losing a character in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Didn't really care about that series at all in general. But like, especially her character. Just throwing it out there. Like they just had her pop
her
up.
Character, man. Her character.
It's like
no character.
I like Ant-Man and the Wasp quite a bit, but I will also say, though she is very, cute and good in the role, I'd also say, okay, the second Kevin Feige's like, all right, well, fine, you don't want to do this anymore, leave. He picks up his phone and he can close his eyes and pick an actress at random, and it would be about as good, So I think the amount of sweat he's losing on this, though, I think he's frustrated. I think it is tricky, and it's tough because you do want people to have their voice, but like Jeff works with BuzzFeed, and when Jeff is here, BuzzFeed's Jeff isn't here, but Jeff like you got to behave out there. And luckily Jeff's a nice upstanding mensch, to use a little Yiddish on you. And so he's not running around breaking into, the Capitol building or anything. And so BuzzFeed has nothing to worry about. But it is a thing, like when you choose to work with Disney, there is an expectation, just like with Whoopi. I mean, just like with anyone who's working on a bigger project, like you are representing more than yourself. Whether that's fair or not is a whole other conversation. So, yeah, she should know her role, shut her mouth, and Channing Tatum should stop whining If he really wants to play a New Orleans character, he should audition for True Detective season 4 and be done with it.
Evangeline Lilly is Karen in the new movie Karen.
Karen
No,
too.
that-
They already made Karen.
The scariest Marvel villain of all, Karen.
Ms. Karen,
That's funny.
Captain Karen.
Well, before
I
you move on, Michael, I'm sorry, were you going to tidy that up? I wanted to, because I'm doing a little bit of a drive-by today, but please finish your thought. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say that I think he really shot himself in the foot wanting to like write the movie, direct and produce it. He'd never directed or like produced anything. Well, he might have produced something, but he'd never directed anything before. And I think they were just like, if something's got to go in this Fox merger, it's going to be our Gerber baby.
Our little Gerber baby. Well, you might see that on the screen, I have given myself the nickname Scoop because I do have a scoop on something. You know, everybody knows that I will always brag about getting invited to press screenings and things like that. And I'll be seeing Death of the Nile on Thursday. But something I was not invited to, an employees only, very early screening of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. And I talked to someone who saw it. And I don't know that he was allowed to give me any spoilers, and he didn't, which is fine. But what he said was that he was surprised at, not because it's Sam Raimi, but because it's Marvel, he was surprised at how much of a horror movie it was. And he's wondering if they have to make any edits to it so that it would actually be rated PG-13.
Oh, shit.
So, and this is, he didn't know he was talking to Scoop. This was just a kid.
Wait, he didn't notice your hat and the press pin?
I quickly turned around the paper that said Scoop, and it said just a guy. So I was like, hey, fellow dad here at this 4-year-old birthday party. So it's just somebody I randomly, I guess technically I'd met him before in the line outside my daughter's school, but so he just started talking about how he saw it, and he's like, yeah, I saw, Sam Raimi was at the screening. So when he said that, like, and it was like weird, I didn't want to, it was like I knew who he was, but I didn't want to bother him. Like, well, if you told me you sat with Sam Raimi, I know what movie it was. Smart guy. But the idea that it's like, because I just figured, it would be like a Disney horror movie, basically like Old Yeller, one act of violence at the end of the movie, that they take out, that they take Steven out back, but
they kill Pizza Dog at the end is what you're saying.
Look, Pizza Dog had a good run, but hearing that, the idea that it might be like a legit horror movie, by the way, my wife heard that. And she was like, great, now I know I don't need to see it, because horror it's not for her. She still hasn't seen the first Doctor Strange. She's seen him in all the other movies and she got it. And we were going to watch the first one, and she's like, now I don't need to watch either of them. So
she got it. I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah. But hearing that it would be that it at least at this stage is very close to being an all-out horror movie. What do you think, Michael?
I think that they probably learned from their New Mutants experiment that a horror movie might be a good idea. And I think they probably got a lot of bounce back that they kind of unhorrored New Mutants for us.
Yeah.
They took all that good stuff out that they'd been amping up as like, this is going to be really scary. And really, it's just really dark and you can't see anything except for like bears. I think maybe they're like, oh, we should have done that, due diligence. Like, look at how huge Anya Taylor-Joy is. Like, they could have kept with her, which I will get back to a little bit later in this podcast.
Put a pin in that.
Yeah.
Tease it forward. What do you think, Jeff, about the idea of Doctor Strange being, an all-out horror movie and not just a Marvel movie with a couple of scares here and there?
I'm excited for it. I love me some horror film, and the fact that they're making it a lot darker and they're teetering the line kind of makes me feel good in the sense that like we have a lot of darker superheroes coming up soon. We have a lot of darker storylines, films, and everything. So how are they going to really showcase this? This is going to be our entrance into that world, into that realm of like storytelling. So I'm excited, but I'm excited but interested to see how they do it.
Yeah, no, I think that I mean Sam Raimi would be the guy to do it. I forget who the original director was that they parted ways with and then moved over to Sam Raimi, but clearly
Derrickson.
Yeah. So
Just
clearly
like
they
with-
had go ahead. Sorry.
I was to say, just like with comic books, Marvel's realized, you need to hit them from all sides, whether they're 5, and they're getting like some Scholastic IDW book, which IDW publishing is canceled. Marvel now, they're not putting out those younger books.
Oh, they don't put those out anymore?
It expired. They're
the ones in the rack at the beginning when you walk in.
Yeah.
Well, I don't go to your store. In mine, they're in the very back where you almost missed that.
I don't think that's I don't think that's a comic book store you're talking about, Mike.
Yeah, no. We can't talk about what's in the back of Michael's store.
Oh, please.
Never walk with Michael behind a curtain.
It's just Gucci bags.
Hey, before I get your thoughts, Eric, Ivan Soto, Doctor Strange being a horror could be an exaggeration. I mean, the guy saw the movie.
He's lying to you because he knows you do this kind of crap.
Yeah, but I mean, I talked to someone who saw the movie, and yes, it could end up, and I was wondering, I'm like, oh, is it like 3 hours? He's like, no, this is probably like close to the running time it's going to be, which he didn't actually give me like 2 hours and 12 minutes or 2 hours and 40 or whatever. I was doing this for all of you, the 3 of you, but also everybody in the chat. I was trying to get as much information from someone who was probably sworn to give no information. He probably said too much. But before we lose our religion, Eric, what do you think about the idea of it actually being an all-out horror? Who's crackling? Is that you, Michael? It sounded like it. So. It sounded like you had some Jiffy Pop in front of you.
It might be me dancing in this chair.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Anyway, so what do you think, Eric?
Well, it's funny. Scott Derrickson, before he did Doctor Strange, actually did some horror. That's, I think, how he first kind of got his wings as a director. And so, I think the idea that they're going further with that's pretty exciting as far as how far they can go. There are definitely some PG-13 horror movies that are, pretty close to R. Whether Disney is willing to sort of push the edges of PG-13, I'm not sure. I mean, Kevin Feige said, like, whenever they get around to Deadpool, it's going to be R-rated. I can't imagine them doing that with Doctor Strange. But it would be nice. But I will say I like that Michael doubted this random person who spoke to you, Christian, and is like dragging his anonymous name, because I also heard that person who told you is anti-vax.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know who that person is at all, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you work on the Disney lot, I don't know that you get to be. I don't think you get to. You actually go into the office. Yeah.
But no, I mean, I'd say
Michael, you're muted. You've muted yourself, Michael. So whatever sass you were bringing was lost.
I said they saw that movie with Whoopi Goldberg.
Which
this movie reminds me of the Holocaust.
Which, by the way, before you get to that thought, Michael, I did notice this morning that Punxsutawney Phil saw his shadow, which means 6 more weeks of Whoopi Goldberg being suspended from The View. So make sure that everybody keeps tabs on that. I was afraid. I was afraid to tweet that joke this morning, but I'm like,
they parlayed her punishment.
So No. Once you start thinking about it too much, it doesn't work. You just have to either laugh at it or move on. And I'm sorry, Michael. I just wanted to commandeer with my Multiverse of Madness scoop before anybody else. You can find other Marvel shows, but nobody else randomly talked to someone who was at that employee-only screening.
Well, hopefully this doesn't get back to Marvel and they don't disinvite you from things.
No, I haven't given any spoilers.
Yeah.
I didn't tell anybody about the underwater musical number featuring the all the original Avengers actors, including Robert Downey Jr. I didn't tell them about that.
It'd still be better than the last time we saw them singing.
Oh, Eric, all right. Let's talk about another Eternals movie that we all
Eternals 2?
love. No, Originals Eternals. Or talk about another Marvel movie. The Eternals leaves theaters with second worst domestic performance in MCU history. I just want to be the first to tell all of you that I kind of called this, and I'm not surprised it's number 1.
What's the worst box office? Does it say in the article?
Man, if I weren't busy hosting
that's all right.
This
if you weren't
show,
busy trying to steal my job.
I didn't get to that. I saw that line and I was, wow, we've got a real
the explanation is the one that they were ready to use for the one that they used a little bit for Black Widow, the one that they were ready to use for Shang-Chi. Anything that has any kind of box office disappointment, you get to point to the pandemic. You can just say the Omicron impacted the So I guess it's the lowest opening. It ranked the lowest opening weekend since Ant-Man. The only Marvel Studios picture to receive a rotten score on Rotten Tomatoes, which honestly, that's shocking. So apparently people who go to Rotten Tomatoes didn't see Thor: The Dark World.
Or like Hulk with
Ang Lee Hulk.
Ang Lee. No.
I like Eric Bana, so I'm okay with it.
So technically the Incredible Hulk counts as a Marvel movie. So that's the lowest one. The Ed Norton Hulk is the lowest one.
Oh, well, there you go. I called it. Terrible movie.
Yeah. That's not a terrible movie. I liked that one. That's the Ed Norton one, not the Ang Lee one. I mean, Liv Tyler's in that movie. She's America's sweetheart. Haven't you seen Capitol Records?
Oh my God.
That's not what that movie's called.
I'm going to be singing Gin Blossoms very soon.
What is that movie called? It's not called Capitol Records. It's
Empire Records.
Empire Records. Thank you. Sorry. I know that's the important thing. And I'm sorry, Michael. What were you going to say?
Oh, I would drag Liv Tyler all day, so let's not even get into it.
That's why I brought her up.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
I remember.
She's like, I need help, and they're like, career, like 911. We're going to put you on this show called 911. Because you career. It's a 911 need of help.
I think I heard a joke about her once where the punchline was why the long face.
I don't know if I told you guys, 1,000,000 years ago, I saw when they did Iron Man at the first Iron Man at Comic-Con. I got into Hall H through what
I think this is Mr. Snap Crackle and Pop over here. Yeah. It's like
How lady? I was in Hall H.
The lady Liv Tyler. In with the horse face. So we somehow got in. Many men died to get us into the Hall H. Their loss was appreciated though, because the Iron Man trailer that no one expected to see, no one thought it would be ready yet, and they brought it out, and that place erupted. It was incredible, and it really showed like the MCU can work. That one trailer, and then the Hulk panel started. They brought only one frame of the Hulk. That was all he had, and it was what's that director's name? Louis Leterrier, and he's a French gentleman. Louis
the 14th. Louis Pasteur, I believe.
Louis Pasteur. Louis Pasteur. So he came in, and
I really milked that joke.
Yeah. Oh, it was. Wow. Look at you. We're going to send you out to pasteurize if you keep that up. Moving on. So he comes out, and they're so serious about the Incredible Hulk, and they're talking to Liv Tyler about her character. We just saw the Iron Man trailer. We're all coming off that high, and then it is like the most boring thing. And it's like, we brought the frame of the new Hulk. That's not me. And and then they show the new Hulk. It looked just like the last second Hulk. I mean, it was hysterical, but it was really like a prime moment for the Incredible Hulk team to show we've got something good, and it could not have fallen more flat. And that is my Liv Tyler tale. I moved on.
Oh man, Christian is just so over. Like,
no, that wasn't me. That's why I took myself out of the stream. So it wasn't me with the static there. I was trying to.
Static?
I don't know who it is.
Because
it was still
not
happening.
muted.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry. I was convinced. You convinced me that it was my fault. And Eric, I learned it from watching you. Okay.
I bring static wherever I go.
So Michael, this is a big "I told you so." Basically, that's why you brought up this Eternal story.
Yeah,
that's what you
it wasn't really
say.
as much of a story as it was just like, I told you guys this sucked and no one likes it.
I mean, it made $164 million. I mean, that's money. It's not.
I feel like
it's not Spider-Man money.
I feel like more than 164 million people used to tune into I Love Lucy every night in the 50s. Like,
I mean, they probably did.
I don't know.
I mean, you didn't give me the choice. Do I get to watch Eternals or like a 5-episode marathon? If it's the week where they went out to Los Angeles and George Reeves is in there playing Superman, then I would definitely watch that instead.
That is a really good episode.
Because Superman, George Reeves is out on the ledge with Ricky and, Lucy's inside. And then the episode ends. He has this line, and they call me Superman. Oh, come on. I want to go watch that now. That's why I'm going to leave in a few minutes.
I'm going to go kill myself.
Yeah.
That's George Reeves' improv. Lucy turned dark that episode.
It got a little
dark, especially with like, never mind, that lady jumping off the building. Too soon.
I know we can't figure out who the static is though, and Jeff is like muted, so it's like Jeff's just like, it can't be me.
I don't want anyone pointing at me, so I muted myself as soon as I heard it.
I just want to say Eric didn't have headphones in, which is a really pet peeve of mine. So I just think it's him anyway.
Well, I mean, I think he did it when he dropped his
microphone.
Kate always does that, and I'm like, "Oh, Kate, wouldn't you rather have some headphones on?"
Oh, and see now Eric's got the headphones, so I don't know what it is. Well,
I like how it perfectly frames your beard.
Oh yeah,
it's like look at those little hat cozies. Yes.
While we're talking numbers, the new data reveals which Marvel shows drove the most Disney Plus subscribers. I'm gonna pull that up for you guys to look at the chart. But
Michael uses a lot more graphics than you, Christian. Our new data is really cool.
Yeah, but I take you to Chuck E. Cheese for an hour on the weekend, and I slap a tenner down on the table, and I'm like, "Go ahead, have fun."
Anything you want, kid.
While I smoke cigarettes in the parking lot with your new mom.
More like me, but whatever.
That's true.
God.
Yeah, I think I just described Michael Shirley weekend down.
Yeah.
This fall on the CW.
I'm like,
except he takes him to Jumbo's clown room.
Man, I only do that with
very far there.
I am known to take people to Jumbo's Clown Room in LA. I will admit that is not something you wouldn't end up doing with me if you come into town. Here's a little chart that we have on how all of this works, and we've got this great graphic from Verbo. Try not to let it distract you.
Which I've rented a home from them before. So if they would like to promote the show, please let us know.
So I thought when I looked at this chart, I just felt really sad. Like I was like, maybe this stuff isn't as popular as I thought it was, or maybe there aren't as many of us as I thought there were. Like just to see Hamilton be like so far above everyone just kind of like hurt my heart a little bit. I figured the Mulan would be like real low. It didn't get the right promotion at all to do well. But they said that Hawkeye was the actual highest, which really shocked me. And they're talking about who's bringing in brand new subscribers like the day these shows air. What If is very low, which I'm sure Jeff is not surprised at. It did not bring in a lot of new customers. But Black Widow.
Wait a minute. The one way up there that star, is that Hamilton?
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
That's why I'm
Enough.
so disheartened by all
You
of
guys
it.
didn't like Hamilton?
What was your second
didn't
guess?
watch it?
I didn't see Hamilton. You think I even would go to like a history class, let alone like watch a musical?
Look,
which I
Michael
hate.
Michael doesn't need to see Hamilton because he already saw Dangerous Minds, so he knows what it's like when the cool teacher comes in and tries to, help you learn through giving you some street smarts. That's my take on Hamilton. Which, by the way, I saw it, and I needed after the first 10 minutes where I'm like, okay, this is what it's going to be like. And once I could settle into Hamilton, I'm like, all right, yeah, I get it. It was very well made, but it was exhausting the way it started. Oh my God. Like, I can't handle 2 hours of this. And it slowed down a little bit.
If you're thinking about it, it says it right there. This is right after the pandemic starts. So everybody is right in their home.
Yeah.
We need some type of entertainment.
Yeah. And that was supposed to be a theatrical release. Like, Disney spent a ton of money to get that version they filmed with the original cast. And then they're like, yeah, we'll just put it on our app.
I mean, yeah. And just to that point, like, this was the original cast, and everybody that actually wanted to see it, that's tried to pay money to go see it in person, would love to see the original cast. So I'm not surprised by this because that's just a wider net of people. That's more just a general.
It's every quadrant. It's every quadrant then too. I mean, old, young.
Well, yeah,
male,
and then
female.
if you look
at it, doesn't have Michael's quadrant.
I don't think that a majority of people enjoy musicals. I feel like half the American population probably could do without them.
Did you see that crowd at Rogers the Musical?
That's never taken seriously at the award shows. Like, even Cats won something. Like, there's not a lot to go against. You're like the only.
Cats won a Razzie Award, I think, is what you mean.
Yeah, but it was the special cut with the buttholes in it. That was the only version that won. It wasn't the regular theatrical.
We did a hate watch. We right at the beginning of pandemic. We did a group watch of Cats the Musical, and the term "the butthole cut" was said at least 100 times over the course of the night. I thought you
said something other than "cut," but whatever.
Well, that was said a lot too.
So
that was reserved for Judi Dench. I'm sorry, go ahead, Jeff.
Did Mulan come out in theaters and on Disney Plus, or just Disney Plus?
No.
Or wait, no, that was the first premiere access. I think it actually was in theaters.
Only say that,
but you could spend $30 for it. But it was I think theaters were open in maybe half the country. Like, they weren't open in California at that point. So I remember. So
if you look at that the grid that we just had up, every movie is pretty much above every different TV show.
That's fair.
Well, Hamilton,
you have to look at
Soul.
Soul is the way up there. Yeah, I see
Black Widow, all of them except for Mulan, and it's that's. So I'm not too surprised with it being a movie and the fact that the musical people probably loved it as well.
I want everyone to look at how low Loki is. Low.
I mean, that is niche Marvel. That is a villain of Marvel getting a TV show. So, I mean, that's niche Marvel. I'm not surprised.
I'm actually shocked WandaVision wasn't the biggest. It's what brought me to Disney Plus. It was the first Marvel show on Disney Plus. So I figured a lot of people would be joining for WandaVision. Yeah, so I thought that would actually, I never would have imagined Hawkeye would have been the top performing Marvel show in bringing in new subscribers.
I need that proof. I think that's just too close to Disney Plus Day. I think that just got some residual.
Yeah,
because that don't make sense to me.
Maybe the Christmas thing surrounding it drew in more people, possibly. But I don't know. I can't really see someone just signing up for this who wasn't interested in watching Falcon and Winter Soldier, wasn't interested in WandaVision, but just wants to watch Hawkeye. Maybe it's the super old Marvel fans like Christian and Eric.
What did you say?
They're like, we know that name.
Black Widow is.
Sorry,
really
I love
nice.
this take from Ghost. I would rather watch Eternals than barbed wire. That is a hot take, Ghost. But I think everybody except Michael would agree with
that.
you.
That is a really unpopular opinion.
Part of me would rather watch barbed wire.
I would also rather watch Eternals than Tank Girl.
Tank Girls has an amazing soundtrack, though.
No.
Why do you think I said it, Michael?
I literally have like a 90s Tank Girl like XXL t-shirt. Like,
boom. Tank Girl, the soundtrack, fuckers. Right
Christian,
there.
You're killing me. Okay. So you're just trying to throw me off my game. We're getting to we're getting my last little thing, and this is just basically for me. And it's kind of fun to mention since we were mentioning WandaVision just a little bit ago, that Marvel has released a 1-year anniversary poster for WandaVision, and I'm trying to share the screen so you guys can see it. Please bear with me. It's been a hot second since I've taken the reins on one of these. Let's see. There we go. And in the poster, we get Wanda on all these little shards of glass. What do you guys think about this poster?
I'm a fan. I wish we could see the kids though, because I still think the kids are coming back. But outside of that, this is really dope.
Yeah, it looks like one of those Mondo posters, which I think are always amazing.
What about you, Christian?
I mean, I'm mostly distracted by the guy laughing on the right side of the frame, but I do really like this, and I feel like this artwork. I think if they're actually, I mean, I don't know, I feel like they are putting these out as like Blu-ray seasons or whatever. It would be cool to have this be part of that packaging, even if it's not the front cover stuff. I think it's cool. It's you can do more representative artwork when the series has finished airing. You can have all the characters on there. You can kind of, reflect on it more. And I think you're right, Eric, in terms of like those Mondo posters. It's like, well, we know what happens in the movie. So, you're not trying to keep things under wraps. So I think it's very cool. I actually like this. I'm not going to get it as a back tat, but I do. I'm saving that for something that I'll share in a few minutes.
I was just really struck by it because it reminded me a lot of a Marvel poster that I had in my room as a kid, and I'm pulling it up right now for you guys. You should be able to see it. It is kind of like a better version of that WandaVision poster, and this was literally on my walls for like 10 years. And so when I saw that poster, I was like, oh, it's interesting that it's a Maximoff and that it's got these glass shards, but I like this poster a lot better. And it makes me wonder if the artists who created it saw this, because if they didn't, they need to.
I do love that poster. That's and look, it all goes back to Magneto, which clearly one day we'll be able to say about maybe the MCU as well.
I've got a bigger picture of the Wanda one, but I don't know if anyone's really interested in that. But let's move on to sorry, that was just like a weird, awkward, like me going down memory lane. But let's go on.
Well, hey, Daniel Drew's on your team. He thinks that's a great poster. So.
Well, I feel like Marvel used to make a lot more posters back in the mid-late 90s. I did see that they are advertising that they do sell posters in their like free weekly preview thing, but they only have like a few, not like, and they're basically just comic book covers. I miss when they were like these grand things.
No, they were artwork specifically for posters. I will I had a few, and I'll see if I can find the artwork for them for a future week, because I had a Punisher one that I really liked, and then the Art Adams X-Men poster that I think a lot of people had from that era it's a great one. I could probably
I had the beach one, which was my very favorite.
Was that
one,
from the Marvel swimsuit issue, or is that a different beach one?
Well, it's from that same time period, but it was more, I think, in line with those cards that they did. They did this whole set of Marvel, probably about 10 cards in, like 100 and something deck, which was like Rogue and Wolverine, like in their swimsuits on the beach. And the poster that they made had all of them on the poster. And like, I think Colossus is holding a surfboard that's got like Storm and Rogue and Jean on it. And they're all in bikinis and, huge Jim Lee, Mama Jongas, like just really sexy, really fun, really probably inappropriate for kids. But yeah, we ought to talk about posters another week. But this week, what we've kind of drawn you guys all in with probably is talking about dream MCU projects. I'm just going to kick it off because I'm totally ready for this. This is like totally my thing. When I came up with this idea, I'd actually been thinking about it for a while. Ever since I saw Eternals, I was thinking, oh my God, why are they wasting showing Excalibur, talking about Excalibur, if they're not going to pull Excalibur into the show? So for my dream project, it would be an Excalibur show, and it would involve Athena and Ileana going to try to find the one person that can wield Excalibur. And in this show, I see people like Psylocke, Captain Britain, I see Kitty, I see Lockheed. I really see like a really fun, different way of looking at Excalibur. I saw in the comments earlier, Kimmy Egan has been reading Excalibur lately. It's kind of like Excalibur has its own little podcast right now. People going through and reading it issue by issue. I know Christian.
Yeah, the oh gosh, oh golly, oh wow podcast. They do every week. They do another issue, and they tweeted out panel by panel. I think it was issue 45 of Excalibur, and they assigned panels to different people. And so I contributed 3 tweets to this crazy analysis for it. Mine were just jokes. Some people had some really smart insight. I did not. But yeah, it's fun. I mean, it's the early part of that Excalibur run was Chris Claremont and Alan Davis, but then Alan Davis also started writing it, and it's I don't know, it's a very, very different book at that point. And then I know that like now Excalibur is something entirely different, but I like this series idea, Michael.
Yeah.
Before I pop out, which I have to do in a moment, I will tell you that there's anybody who knows me, this is probably such an obvious thought for what I would want to have as my show. I've talked about how this would have made a good show, and I talked about it so long ago that actors who have essentially aged out of playing them would not be available. But I still want the Kitty Pryde and Wolverine show, and I at this point, we don't have anybody playing Kitty. We don't have anybody playing Wolverine at the moment. So the casting is wide open, but I think that this is a story that doesn't work as a movie. No matter how many movies they make, it needs to be a standalone series. And the first time I talked to Chris Claremont in 2013, he agreed with me. So obviously this is a good idea. It was so long ago that we were like, well, there's the Marvel deal with Netflix, so maybe that'll include the X-Men one day. So a lot has changed since then. It seems like it's more feasible now that this could air on Disney Plus. And anybody who hasn't read this series, I think they should. But Michael, I know you had somebody that you wanted to play Kitty, but you also feel that at this point, I at one point I thought Natalie Portman would have been perfect, but she's Jane Foster, like so 50. We're way past that now, But
oh man, I'd always thought Aaliyah Shawkat from Arrested Development, Search Party, she'd be such a great Kitty. I really can't see anyone caring more about Elliot Page and
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman. I don't think that could have worked. I think we got the most we're gonna see like Wolverine and Kitty in that Days of Future Past movie, which I guess that's what that was.
I mean, it's what it's called. The Dark Phoenix movie's called that too.
Yeah,
that's a hell of a review. I guess that's what it was.
I want to because I do have to go, and I think you need me to share. Michael, you have two. Sorry, Eric, you have two images, right?
Yeah. So the first one. So I came up with this idea, kind of like the very short-lived Lone Gunman, which was a spin-off.
X-Files spin-off.
Say again, Christian?
The Lone Gunman, you mean the X-Files spin-off?
Yeah, right. And the idea of like, okay, because first of all, I think Excalibur sounds awesome. I would watch Kitty Pryde and Wolverine all day long. So I think they're both awesome ideas. But I was thinking, okay, like eventually a lot of the team-ups I want feels like stuff they're already kind of working towards. But the idea of a show that maybe dare I say, a little closer to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but maybe a bit more sort of serio comic or a little more ironic. And so I'm thinking, yeah, I would love to see, and there was already talk of of Darcy and Jimmy having their own show. But why not put in some of the more quote unquote average people? So let's add Katie, let's add Happy, and then because you need some random ass weird element, let's throw in Pip, but specifically the very poorly designed Pip from Eternals, where
the Pip from the Eternals end credits.
Where they basically admitted they didn't have time to animate him. So in essence, the apology Pip. So I don't want him to look more photorealistic. I want him to look less.
So
and then I have a picture of their villains.
Yeah, I know. Let me get that.
Oh yeah, who are these guys fighting?
They're fighting average. So the tagline being average villains need average heroes. So we're talking the most average villains out there in the Marvel universe.
And yeah, they are definitely average.
I don't know who these people are.
So the banker from Winter Soldier, who I despise so much.
Stop it.
The tracksuit.
Shut up.
The tracksuit mafia. That guy who showed up in Spider-Man Far From Home.
Yeah.
Who, and who actually is a character from the Marvel universe.
Yes.
Which I didn't realize. And then all those dudes who get beaten up very easily by Captain America. So the lesser hydrate.
Because he can do this all day.
Right. So yes, that is my pitch. Average coming to maybe beta.
You've got Daniel on board for this.
He's the mastermind. No, he's the mastermind, dude. That's the big bad of the season.
Your show is getting much better reaction than my Kitty Pryde and Wolverine or Michael's Excalibur. And Jeff, it's not that I don't want to hear what yours is, but I do have to go. So thank you, Michael, for pulling this thing into port. I will be back next week, and as always, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ChristianDMZ. Good to see everybody, and Michael, you have the con.
Okay. Yeah, man, Eric, I thought my villain for my show, which I didn't say, I was thinking like Strife. I thought he would be a good villain with like the costume and with Ileana. I thought that would be really fun. But wow, your villains are really lame. Or villains.
Well, listen, I mean, they're not going to be fighting, Kang or Thanos. So yeah, you got to give them someone that can actually beat.
No one
occasionally,
like literally the banker.
No, you think he's the banker, but I got a very elaborate story about him.
He's the power broker.
Yeah. No. Power broker answers to him. No, it's a whole thing.
If you had thrown Agent 13 in there, I would have found it believable. But I don't know. I feel like you need to rework that.
I can work it. Listen. My goal is always to make Michael Shirley happy.
Yeah. What about you, Jeff? I know you don't have a spectacular graphic like Eric and I did.
Yeah.
Christian kind of just pulled up a comic book and pretended like he was prepared. But what do you have like for a dream MCU project? Because I know you're more of like the movie end of stuff, not as much the comic end. So you probably have a lot more different idea of what the fans want.
I love the dog's like, nope, I want that still. I don't care if you're busy.
I don't know what's happening. Don't let him distract you. This is your time, Jeff.
I appreciate it. No, I think my show would be called Marvel High, because what I want is for something like the Ultimate Spider-Man series, and the fact that we get a lot of young characters, a young Danny Rand, a young Nova, a young Miles Morales, and just all these different a young Luke Cage, and all these different young characters learning their powers, learning how to be superheroes, and kind of learning that together, and kind of, to Eric's point, hitting all these lower end villains, so you can see work together as a team and kind of be the young Avengers or whatever, just a younger name, but like a young team. And I think that would be cool to have like either Hawkeye or Samuel Jackson, or just like some of them be like a teacher in the role in these series, but like kind of not be the main focus, but be more of like the teenagers are being the next generation of superheroes.
That kind of sounds a lot like this God, what's it called? X-Men.
Yeah. Shut the hell up. That sounds like, that sounds so familiar. Oh my gosh.
It is a cold house that Michael runs. A cold house.
Who's your villain, Jeff? Who's your villain? You said they wouldn't be too big. If you got like a person, were you thinking maybe like a Magneto or a Juggernaut or an Emma Frost?
See, I think some of the kids should go evil too, and give me like a kid Loki evil. Or I like the Tracksuit Mafia. I like some street level, some street level villains that just that the young guys can fight. So give me like Scorpion. Give me like
the Wrecking Crew.
Yeah, give me something that the lower level, some Spider-Man villains that we can deal with, that the lower class villains can deal, or superheroes can deal with, and that the ones that aren't going to space and snapping away half the population.
Who's that guy who used to walk around with a crowbar as part of the Wrecking Crew? Like, that guy I loved, because it's like, of all the weapons, he had a crowbar, which is also utilitarian. And by the way, Marvel Babies would be the greatest show ever. So
yes,
I dig it. I wanted to throw that up there for you, Jeff.
That's fine. I would watch it.
Easy. Especially, I mean, Cyclops is a baby. Brilliant.
Yeah.
The kid's a walking time bomb.
I'm scrolling through the comments. We've got a couple ideas from people, fans watching. We've got Agents of Atlas would be so cool. I'm not really sure what that would look like. Agents of Sword, which would be an interesting show. I think that would definitely... Actually, I think that's probably coming with what I've been hearing about Secret Invasion, having Abigail Brand leading the team under Emilia Clarke. I could definitely see Sword in our future. It seems like space is the next frontier for Marvel, with the Eternals, Fantastic Four, Dark Phoenix.
Dark. Why is it in quotes? It's just Dark Phoenix.
Oh man,
with the X-Men and Magneto and Kitty Pryde,
Jean Grey.
Let me talk about Rogue. Of course, her name is Pride.
Oh man, that movie, that is probably one of my least favorite movies, and it pains me so much that Chris Claremont actually loves it. And I'm like, they butchered your movie, bro. Like, they butchered like one of the most epic comic book stories in history.
Sure.
And you love it. Don't.
Did he love it or just tolerate it?
He loves it. He loves it. He loves Sophie Turner as Jean, which
so he loves Dark Phoenix. So he actually likes that one.
He likes the
movie. Loves it.
No, he like went to the premiere and was like, I love it. I love it. And I was like, you can't. You can't.
I think he got paid.
Oh man,
yeah, you see someone put a couple of fins in his pocket on the way out.
I don't think that's what it is. He did get a writing credit, and so did the other guy that was on that book, but they misspelled his name. Not Chris's name. He would have. Everyone would have known if they misspelled Chris's name.
Well, as long as they didn't misspell it on the check, I guess.
No, he is. I mean, he doesn't. He's not the type of guy where I feel like money sways his opinion. It might make him not say something about someone or some property, but no, I think he definitely likes it, and I was shocked. But let's see. There were a couple others in the comments. We've got a lot of comments today, which is really exciting. I want to think it has a little something to do with me. I don't know. Okay, here's one from Daniel Drew. He'd love to an X-Men series, but not a limited series. Yeah. I mean, I think the X-Men are way too big for a TV show. I think we might see them popping up in a TV show, but not originating. I think Squirrel Girl makes total sense. I think they were wanting to work her in for that New Warriors sitcom. I'm not sure if you guys have heard about that. Christian talks about it every once in a while. It was supposed to be, I guess, kind of like Friends or something, but with like Speedball and like all these weird off, like Squirrel Girl and all these weird off kind of Marvel characters. But I think that's about it today. We've gone into our hour. We don't want to take any more of Eternal Eric's time. You teaching the youngins today, Eric?
They're not that young. They're grad students, but younger. But everyone compared to me is young. You know. I mean, heck, I could be Jeff's dad if I don't know, ever got around to hooking up with anyone at that age. So, yes, I do have to go off and work, but always a pleasure to see your lovely faces, gents.
And tell everyone where they can find you, Eric, on the interwebs.
Can't Eric Connor. I'm hanging out Instagram, Twitter. I'm around Facebook, and I'm around a lot of Burbank's less reputable gin joints as well.
Gin joints. I didn't know gin has been making a comeback in LA.
It's just my backyard, really.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, Jeff, where are they going to catch you?
At Jeff Will Jr. on all your social media platforms.
Yeah. And you guys can find me on Instagram at I Hate Michael Shirley and on Twitter at Michael X Shirley until they get more characters to let it match my Instagram handle, which I like better. But until then, you guys can just follow us there, and be sure to follow the Blattcast. You can follow Blattcast on Instagram, Twitter, and Christian's doing this fun thing highlighting. He's done a lot of shows on various things. He has his regular Blattcast show. He has Biden Time, which I just think is a brilliant title, by the way.
Yes.
Which is a political show, and then you've got our show, and you can find out all about that. And he's spotlighting all different episodes all year long, so you can catch up on some things you might not have heard of before you found us, or maybe you just want to rewatch again just because you love Christian so much and love watching us so much. But until next time, Excelsior.